basketball head coach Shea Ralph. We'll go ahead and open up the floor first here for questions here in person, and then I will open up the Zoom for our local media. So if you, we'll just go ahead and we'll take an opening statement from Coach Ralph, and then we will open the floor for questions.
Well, first of all, I just want to say before anything else that I'm really proud of our effort. I'm not a moral victory kind of coach, but it's no secret that we've had a pretty tough week. Our last couple games was not our best effort or energy, or not a team that I know and love here and coach at Vanderbilt. So I challenged my players and my staff the last few days of practice, and I think they responded really well. This today looked like the team that I know we can be. This today looked like a team that can be competitive and will be competitive with any other team in the country, as long as we play hard and we play together. We could have been a little smarter today. We had some untimely turnovers, not too many, but very untimely ones. And then obviously credit to LSU, because the rebounding battle is always a really, really tough one with them. So if you get out-rebounded by 20, give up 21 offensive rebounds, that's tough to overcome on the road. But I did want to start by saying how proud I am, because it has been a tough week, and I thought that today we showed who we really are, who we're capable of being, not only individually but as a team, and I'm proud. I'm proud.
Hey, we'll go ahead and open up the floor for questions. We got right here in the second row. Please take your name and then ask your question.
Yeah, Matthew Bruni with On Three. In the second half, offensively, y'all were over 50%. What did you like in the second half? What did y'all change, I guess, going into it?
I like that we just kept playing through things. So one of the things that we've struggled with recently is when things don't work, right? Plays don't work. How do we play through that? And how do we play through the physicality that we're going to see day in and day out in the SEC? I thought today did a much better job of cutting harder, screening, moving the ball from side to side, actually running the things with intensity and effort, setting actual screens, and then hitting players when they were open. And the shots that we took were pretty good too. For the most part, we took some great shots. Anytime we take really good shots, there's a high percentage that they're going to go in, to me, because those are the shots we work on in practice. And we start turning the ball over, and we play like our hair is on fire, our percentage is going to drop just because we're doing that. And we may get lucky from time to time, but we did a lot of that the last couple games we played, just played like our hair was on fire, and then we didn't defend. And so we dug ourselves early in deep holes. We did not do that today. Today, I thought we did a much better job of defending, making it tough for them to get everything they wanted, not fouling a whole bunch except on some offensive rebounds, staying between them in the basket, and then offensively being patient and executing, but also playing through physicality. So when we can do that, I do believe that we'll get open shots, and when we get open shots that the players can make and take in practice, then we should shoot that percentage. We should. So thought we did a better job in the second half of that.
Hey, Coach, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV. I want your thoughts on Morrow, the energy she plays with, and the numbers she racks up, despite the fact she's not, 6'3" or something like that.
Yeah. I've been really blessed to coach some amazing players in my career, and I do remember when she transferred to LSU from DePaul, I was like, damn, we're gonna have to play against her, because I remember what she did at DePaul and how hard she played. There's no substitute for what that kid has inside her heart. And what most people maybe don't know, but coaches know, you can't coach that. You can't coach what she does. You either have that or you don't. That kid has a lot of stuff inside of her that makes her a pro right now. She is a monster in a good way. She's going to rip your heart right out of your chest, a competitor. I like that we battled with her intensity today, but she's tough. So it's fun to compete against a player like that. She'll have a long career in the pros, but it's cool to watch her continue to develop. And I always have a whole bunch of respect for a player that plays as hard as she does. She makes a lot of stuff that's hard. She makes it look easy to do. It's not that easy to do what she does.
Reed Darcy, the Advocate. Coach, I'm curious, last 2 minutes you had it close and then LSU started to pull away. Well, what did you see over that sequence of possessions, and then how did you drop away?
Yeah, I think we they made a couple of really good plays. We gave up a couple of easy buckets. I thought we matched them pretty well intensity-wise up until that point. I mean, any late rotation, offensive rebound, that kind of thing that would happen in the second half, I don't ever think it comes down to the last 2 minutes, but it looked like we were just a step slow. Defensively, we weren't rotating as quickly. We tried to trap them a couple times. I think the score was tied. We trap a lot in our defense. I thought maybe we could rotate and get a steal and a bucket, and we didn't. Instead, I think we gave up an open jump shot and a layup. And so that sucks, right? That's not ideal at that point in the game. And then I also think that we just have to continue to work on those moments in practice so we get comfortable. And that's on me, and I'm going to keep doing that with our players. But I thought for the most part up until that point, neck and neck, yeah, we did what we had to do, and then we just had a couple late rotations. And, honestly, they made a couple of tough shots with a hand in their face. I'll go back and look at the film, but they made a bunch of tough shots with a hand in their face. And, again, that's just grit. That's grit.
I got one more question here in person, and then we'll jump over to the Zoom.
Coach, you mentioned that it was a tough weekend, tough loss to LSU, but you head to Tennessee this Sunday. What's the message to your team after a tough loss like this?
You just keep fighting. I think, like I said in the beginning, I'm not a moral victory kind of coach, but today looked like the team that we need to be. So this needs to be a habit for us to play like this. And there's a lot, it takes so many days to create a habit. We need to practice like we practiced the last couple days leading up to this game, like we practiced the last couple days, because that's not what the 2 weeks before that looked like. So this isn't going to take the wind out of our sails. We got to look ahead. Respecting the present right now, but we got to believe in the future. So, yeah, we came here and we fought and we lost at LSU, but we fought a lot harder than I've seen them in the last couple of weeks, and we played more capably than that's how we need to play, right? So now as we look forward, we have to believe in that. So we build on that the next few days. We build on it. And then we can come out and be even more competitive on our home court against Tennessee. And then whatever happens, the result of that game doesn't take the wind out of our sails. You win or you lose, you got to get up the next morning and go to work anyway, right? You got to get up. We all got to do it. You have a sucky day, you got to get up. You can't stay in bed. You got to get up and go to work, because that's what we came here to do. So we're gonna go home. We're gonna watch the film, and all of us are gonna look at, hey, what could we have done better? How could we have set ourselves up better to take the game? And then we're gonna get better at those things. We're gonna wake up. We're gonna go to work. We're gonna prepare. Okay, and then we're going to do it again the next day. Then we're going to do it again the next day, and that's how we have to be the rest of the season if we want to have a fighting chance to achieve the goals that we have this year with this team. And, and I tell my team this every day, they don't have a choice. I'm going to make them do it. And I know that they came here to do it. So today to me is just the beginning of who we actually are. And now we get to build on it. We have a week to do so, which I'm excited about. And then we'll see where we are next week.
All right, we're going to go ahead and open up the floor for just a couple of Zoom questions here. We're going to start with Elena Morris from VandySports.com. Go ahead, Elena.
Yeah, obviously a tough game against Ole Miss, but you guys turned around and played toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the country for 40 minutes. What were some of those adjustments you made from that Ole Miss game to tonight that you feel like your team really did well with?
We didn't have a basketball problem last week. We had to look really inside ourselves and see, who do we want to be? What are the things we're trying to accomplish, and how can we practice to be that? How can we encourage each other to be that? How can we play for each other? So we didn't have enough time to change anything. It's not changing anything. There's not a real adjustment basketball-wise. We just showed up ready to fight to win as a group the last couple of days of practice. And I challenged them. I was really hard on them because I thought that's what we needed. So in order for us to be competitive in this league, I told them it's not going to get any easier. And the team that we look like the last week isn't the team that we are, and I won't allow that to be the team that takes the floor again. So they bought in like they always do. We had 2 really good practices and a great shoot-around today. And so like I said earlier, that's habit building, and we're going to continue to do it.
Any other questions on the Zoom? Please raise your hand. All right, Gearon. Go ahead, Arya. All right, there you go, Arya.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of a tough game for Michaela today. What do you think that she can take from this, going forward?
I just want her to take a deep breath. She is, if not the best freshman in the country, really close, one of them. And you're not going to have your best night every night. So I just want her to take a deep breath. Her shot wasn't falling, but she did a whole bunch of other stuff that helped us stay competitive in that game like she always does. Sometimes your shot's not going to fall. Sometimes it's going to feel like you can't get anything right offensively on the court. She turned the ball over quite a few times, way more than she usually does. But I don't want her to get caught up in that. I think that she needs to understand her value to this team, whether or not she scores a ball, and then take what she can from the game. Michaela, like the rest of our players, when you get here, you got to learn how to play in this physical league with the physicality of this team. LSU, this team today, Tennessee, Ole Miss last week. Every team is very, very, very physical. So those are some of the things we talk about in film. Those are some things we work on in practice. But that's just kind of a transition adjustment period that it takes with freshmen.
All right, we got Chris Harris and then Brandon Bigsby, and that will be the final question. So go ahead, Chris.
Great. Thanks, Coach. And just listening to you speak so passionately about the result of tonight's game and what it took and how you challenged all your girls, do you hope that this game and the result here is kind of, in the way they played, as a galvanizing moment of the season for your program?
I do. I think if you look at sports, right, there's always these kind of moments that can be galvanizing. Not that we're football, because we're not, but Marcus Freeman had a great quote after their game about how, in the toughest times you can make the greatest gains, and he's not wrong. And it doesn't apply to just football or just men's sports. It also applies to female sports, like athletes across the board. You learn the most about yourself when you fail, when you hit adversity, when it's really, really, really tough. And that's when you learn that those can be your greatest lessons. And it's easy to say that, but when you're going through it, it's really hard to believe that. So I was able to show that clip to our team and how he talked about in week 2 when I think they lost to, what was it, Northern Illinois or something like that, Notre Dame football, and how the guys in the locker room came together for team glory. At that point, it became whatever we have to do to push Notre Dame football forward. And I think when you play in a team sport as competitive as ours and the conference that we play in, you have to play like that. You have to put the team first. You got to fight for each other. You got to fight for Vanderbilt, and you got to lay it out all on the line every single day. And that's that's what I'm hoping that we continue to do.
All right, final question, Brandon Bigsby, Vandy 24/7. Go ahead.
Coach, I know you mentioned the rebounding being an emphasis of why this game went the way it did. What did you feel like presented such a challenge for you guys, especially in terms of some of the second and third chance opportunities LSU had?
I mean, is it a technicality thing? I don't know. I'm not a big believer in teaching rebounding. You teach boxing out. You get taught boxing out from when you go to camp when you're 6. I think it's a lot harder to box out Anissa Morrow than anyone else that we played. So rebounding is hard, and she has a big one. We battled her, but there were times where she just took it from us. And so what else can you do? Well, you got to continue to get in the weight room. We'll continue to work on it in practice. I think we have to hit these players a little further outside the lane, but a lot of them were bunnies, mid-range jump shots and layups, and it was a mosh pit. And we just have to be the ones that come up with it. That's all. We got to be the ones that come up with it. And whether they foul us or not, it can't matter. So we'll just continue to work on it. But to me, it wasn't a lack of battling or trying. They just came up with more than we did.
All right. Well, Coach, appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.